knowing that there's a group of people behind you, if there is an issue, will help you with scheduling or whatnot, or whatever little thing you run into, and that you guys are understanding, and you guys have a lot of knowledge in the industry yourselves.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Perks in Paving. I am your co-host, Mark. As always, I'm joined by my beautiful bride, Paige. And today we also have Ian in the corner on the ones and twos today.
In the corner.
Hello, everybody. I'm over in the corner.
Today is another special episode. We have our resident Florida man in with us on the Zoom link today. Welcome to the Perks in Paving podcast episode. The president and owner of the Central Florida Parking Lot Maintenance, Brian Hayes. And
Thank you for having us.
Who are you doing by with today, Brian?
This is Jacob Mobley. He's one of my guys. He works with me, and he's been doing a great job. He's a good partner of ours. So we're trying to teach him as much about podcasting as possible.
Nice.
Oh,
welcome to the show, Jacob.
Are you going to be the new podcaster?
Maybe.
Ooh, nice. It looks like you have a pretty good setup going there. You guys have mastered that part already.
It's amazing what you can get from Amazon with Prime.
That's great. Good stuff.
So, Brian, tell us a little bit about your company. How long have you been in business for, and how long have you been in the industry?
This is our 8th year. We've been in the industry for over 15. So that's total 15 years total, but 8th year of owning our own company.
That's awesome.
How did this come to be? Like how one day you just were like, I'm gonna start a parking lot maintenance company, or were you around it growing up, or like how? Tell us that part of the story.
I used to run a lot of heavy equipment, so parking lot stuff seemed to merge in well. Parking lot maintenance, so I had a background in that, and then the parking lot maintenance was something that was easier to do. There was a lot of opportunity in Central Florida for it, and we'd worked and gained a lot of experience at another company as a manager, and then decided it was time to go off on our own.
Very nice.
So obviously you had industry experience prior to starting the company. What would be the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone who was in your shoes? That was, I know how to do this, and thinking about venturing off, starting their own enterprise. What would you say to them? What would be one piece of advice?
You better love it, because there's a lot of it.
Eat, sleep, breathe.
Yeah, a lot of it
right?
what we see, a lot of it has to do with motivation, with guys not being motivated to go on year after year and grow their company and so forth. A lot of it has to be what's your why, and there's a lot of guys that try to do it for a while and can't stick with it, and they kind of quit too soon.
And Jacob, I'm sorry, my brain is like fried right now. That I am saying the correct name, right, Jacob?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'm so sorry. A lot of things have happened today, and I'm like, I don't want to refer to him the whole podcast as the wrong name. But so how long have you been with the company now?
I've been with the company for 1.5 years now. I've been in the industry for like 4 years, so just trying to get as much knowledge as I can from people that have more time around it.
Very nice.
What would you say separates the company you work for now with Brian compared to the other companies you work for and your experience in the industry up to this point?
The positivity, definitely. Time after time, even in bad times, rough times, he's always got something positive to say. So just that goes back to motivation.
Yeah. I'll say, this season on our podcast, we're interviewing contractors, people in our One Team network that we all are huge fans of and celebrate. And personally speaking, I will speak for myself, but Brian is the most reliable person in the state of Florida that I've ever worked with.
I would argue across the whole country, honestly. I mean, obviously we work with a lot of different contractors, and we're not just saying this. I mean, you are best of the best, and we are very thankful for you and all that your team does. You make it happen, whatever hour of the day that we need you, and whatever we need, you are always there, and that makes our lives a lot easier. So thank you for that.
And thank you guys. Having a good team behind me with you guys really helps. And if there's an issue, or if there's something I need to learn, or just the detail that you guys put into everything really helps the jobs go smoothly. and we can, I've learned a lot from you guys on how you do your bidding and everything. And, knowing that there's a group of people behind you, if there is an issue, will help you with scheduling or whatnot, or whatever little thing you run into, and that you guys are understanding, and you guys have a lot of knowledge in the industry yourselves.
Yeah, it goes both ways. I mean, I love that you're able to share a lot of knowledge with me. I know when I just started, and even today, I mean, if I ever have a question, I know I can give you a call, and that means so much to all of us. I mean, we're always looking to learn. There's, new people coming in here every day, and they really appreciate that as well. So I would say you were a crucial part of my growth within the industry to this point. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
I'm sure Ian has something he wants to pop in. He
Of
looks like
course.
he's
Well, just on a serious note, I mean, we get lots of jobs coming across our desks every day, especially in my position, supporting one or two sales reps, and every time it's
And being
in
an executive producer.
yeah, when I'm not producing podcasts that start 60 minutes late, anytime I see a job that's in your area and I know I get to pick up the phone and give you a ring, and it's probably going to go well, and we're going to have a nice conversation and talk about fishing or some other nonsense as well. So we
Absolutely.
really appreciate working with you. And that's about
Absolutely.
as serious and sappy as I'll be during this whole thing.
That's
Okay.
not where I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna turn it to be something completely different. So
Right.
good job, Ian.
With the Pavement Group being a national provider and us, doing jobs all across the country, what's your experience been like working with us compared to other national providers that might approach you for work?
You guys are definitely 10 times better at every aspect of it. We deal with other clients that one of them I've never talked to on the phone before. And they get me from 3 different emails. So sometimes I have to read their name to see what company they're working for that day. There's some that the turnover rate is so huge. I barely save their number, and I'm like, oh, they've been there 3 months. Maybe I'll save their number now. And so it's hard to deal with them, how the turnover is, lack of experience, or they don't care, they think they're always right, you can't work with them on a project and stuff like that. It's been really rough dealing with some of the other national providers compared to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak, but we really appreciate that feedback. But one question I wanted to ask was obviously like there's things that pop up within a normal day. What would you say is like the biggest challenge for you running a paving company that you've had to overcome? It can be as of recent or, since the start of having your paving company, but
The weather. The weather.
yeah.
The weather in
And
Florida.
it's funny that you say weather because you live in the most beautiful place on earth. So
that rains every day at 3 o'clock.
I know.
So yeah, the weather was hard. We had one last year with Mark. I'm gonna see if he remembers. We had to reschedule quite a few times. It was raining every day right when we wanted to get there. So
Yeah. Now, because of the weather being as nice as it is where you are, you work pretty much year round, correct? There's no really
Yep.
downtime for you or slow season. You're 24/7, 365.
Yep.
Go, go, go.
Yep.
Literal on the
Until it gets
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. I mean, you were out there striping stuff for me last night, so I know you're pretty much close to 24/7.
We get a week or two off for hurricanes, and then maybe a week or two when it's below 50 that it's hard to get anything done.
Yeah.
But other than that, we do get a week or two in the summer when it's hurricane season for sure. That we'll go until we can't anymore, and then we'll stop. And then we'll start again right after the storm. So
Yep.
Yeah, I remember last year we had a couple
CVS.
CVS shopping centers that we were halfway through when the hurricane came, and I was like, well, I guess maybe let's go make sure they're still there before we start doing work again.
Right.
I mean, so hopefully this isn't, jumping the gun, Brian. So we can cut it if you don't want to talk about it. But I was really excited last week. I was like struggling and I was, trying to find someone in the middle of Florida to pave a parking lot. So I'm like, oh man, I wish that Brian Hayes paved parking lots, and I like jokingly sent him a text, and what do you know? Next day I got a video of Brian Hayes paving a parking lot. So tell us
Right.
about that.
That's more so Jacob. He wanted to do it a lot more than I did.
Okay.
I'll blame all that on him. His family has a lot of experience in it, so he can learn from a lot of those guys, and it's a lot of the same process that we're already doing. So it's just something that we're going to get into and move forward with it.
Very, very exciting.
Well, I had a similar experience to Paige, and me and Mark got together and we thought, we were talking on the phone yesterday, me and you, Brian, and about, you're going to start a new company, possible company names.
I seen your text. I seen it earlier today. It took me a second, but I understood it.
Yeah, so we're going to pitch a couple to you here, and
There you
Jacob,
go.
maybe you can weigh in on
I'm
these as
letting
well.
Jacob decide it. So I'm letting Jacob, he gets more of the vote in the name than I do.
He can't handle
Okay,
the
so
pressure.
Mark, if you want to start with one or two of yours,
You
All
better
right.
remember these.
So the first one I got is Brian's Blacktop Bliss.
No.
that sounds so gay.
No.
All right.
All right. What you got?
I was thinking maybe BHE Paving, the Brian Hayes experience paving.
Oh, okay. All right.
But this is the one I'm really proud of. I actually printed it out here. I don't know how our legal team will feel about this, but
Yeah.
there's already a lot of good
That's
branding
why I
behind
didn't
it.
even reply back
go.
to you.
The Pavement Group 2.
I didn't even reply back to your message.
Oh, it's
That's
great.
about all I could come up with. I don't know how you feel about that
That
one.
would save me a lot of money, but it would, yeah, but I think it might upset a few people.
That's so funny.
I had one more. I had a bunch, but I feel like this is a reasonable one. I like Pothole Patrol.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like the
Other than like they already do potholes, like they're
Right.
expanding above
True.
I mean,
Thinking
I know obviously you
really
pave.
big
Are you
Yeah.
trying to rip off like the cartoon dogs?
Yeah, like
some of these were original ideas, some of them weren't.
Do you-
that might have
Do you guys have any ideas that you want to bounce off us, or are you keeping them close to the chest here?
I think the last one that I said was Florida asphalt paving.
Yeah.
Something simple. It
Yeah.
has a lot to do with the SEO side of it and so forth. We were gonna keep it something simple like that.
nothing crazy like Crack Attack Paving or anything like that.
No, yeah, that would work if we did more crack sealing.
What about you, Jacob? Any ideas in mind?
He wants to hear all my bad ones first before he comes up with a good one. So,
No, I mean, you kind of want to base your name off of, how far you're going to travel for work. So, kind of basing it off of Florida, more central Florida, which he's already taken up. So I think, Florida paving is kind of pretty close to something we'd be looking for.
Yeah. Love
we
that.
have to check and make sure nobody else has the name already.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're still
wait, you're
brainstorming.
saying that you would want to go outside of Central Florida? You would want to do all of Florida? Am I understanding that correctly?
We currently do run quite a bit outside of Central Florida, like North and South Florida also. So we're kind of already there where we've outgrown our name. So that's part of why to change the name. But yeah, we go north and south quite a bit for customers.
Right. Yeah, you've gone down into Miami for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
I'm curious about the logo. The name choice is going to be fun, but got to come up with a creative logo.
AI will handle the logo for you. You just need to think of the name. So you can download an app for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we could maneuver something around here too. I know we have some creatives that probably would love to use their creativity to
Absolutely.
logo together. But so now I have a question for you. I know that you've spitballed some ideas for Ian's segment on our podcast. We want him to have his own special segment of the perks in paving, and tell our viewers what your initial thought was.
That would be
for
awesome.
his segment.
You're gonna have to put him with somebody else. Don't let him do it alone. That's why I've got Jacob with me. Yeah, that's awesome. What would they talk about? Who only knows? There's no telling.
Yeah, we were trying to plan a prank on Mark Perkins one way or the other. We couldn't quite figure out the logistics. I really wish Trudy was running a job today so that Brian could call her and tell her like we seal coded the wrong parking lot or something. There's some really hilarious asphalt base pranks, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? We'll get them next time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd
Yeah.
be funny. That'd be
Unless it
decent.
was you.
Unless it was my job.
Yeah. That's what
Didn't
Ian
line
asked
up
me. I was
quite
like, I
right.
think the last job that we did together was you guys did the one for the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
That was the last
Yep.
one.
He
that-
actually just did one over the weekend for me in Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Was
Yep.
it a fun one?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking of playing a joke somehow. So
All right. So what's the craziest story that you have from your career in the parking lot maintenance world? Craziest requests, craziest day?
I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
Moment.
we did almost seal coat the wrong parking lot one time. I had made that mistake where it was right down the road where we went and took the wrong pictures at the wrong property, and the customer didn't realize that. But luckily, the guys caught it and went to the right property. We did do a job one time in front of a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant came out and said, "We're ripping up the asphalt." And the owner of the restaurant said, "Leave or we're going to call the cops because we didn't give you the work order." And we're like, "Yeah, we work for the property owner." And they thought they owned the property and they didn't. It was just a land lease. So while we got hot asphalt on the job site, while the parking lot's ripped up, the guys wanted to call the cops on us. So we're like, "Can we just please finish? You'll like us a lot more if we finish, And we couldn't get nowhere with the guy, and he just wanted to call the cops on us.
So what happened?
We ended up leaving, and we finally got a hold of the property owner, and we were correct. We're doing what we're supposed to. Then we got to go back and finish it. So we just wasted all the asphalt and everything, wasted a day. So we just picked up on it the next day. But they didn't, it was obviously they didn't communicate with the restaurant that we were going to be out there doing the work, and that's where it fell apart at.
That seems to be I know that in our world as well. I mean, obviously we work in the same industry. That seems to be 90% of the problems that I run into is I'm telling the person I'm working with and they're not relaying it to the person who needs to know. Would you agree that that's a big part of the roadblocks that you run into?
We get that a lot sometimes where we show up to work and they're, we'll hear, "We didn't know you were coming," or something like that. And then it just, of course, except for that one time, they'll let us do our job. And it definitely helps if they do know that, hey, we're going to be on site for X amount of hours or this day, or, parking's going to move this way. And it does help. But yeah, it does happen a lot, no matter how much we try for it not to happen, but it does happen a lot. Or we just did one last week. There's a storage container in the middle of the job that wasn't supposed to be there. We've had huge commercial freezers in the middle of jobs, vehicles that have been abandoned that the store should have removed long before we got there. We do run into stuff like that quite a bit. And it's like, well, that'll slow us down however many hours or days to finish the job now.
Yep. That's why the value of pre-con calls they're so valuable. I think, that's what allows our projects to go as smooth as they do. But, sometimes owner or a property company that we're working with doesn't have the ability to connect us with there's miscellaneous reasons of why maybe those pre-con calls don't happen at times. And those are typically the times where the problems present. So, do you guys do a lot of pre-con calls or on-site walks with everyone involved on your end as well?
We typically try to let them know, hey, when are you guys not busy, or figure out what day of the week they're not as busy as others. Try to stay out of their way, and then we always try to overestimate how long the job will take, to give ourselves more time if something does happen.
Right.
But we always try to let them know. And it's like every time you think you've got it all covered, turn on your lights on, turn your sprinklers off, reschedule your garbage truck and your deliveries.
Yep.
There's always something new that pops up, that will get to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I got one last question. I really appreciate your time. I know everyone's busy, but here's a scenario for you, okay? It's a perfect Floridian day. The water is
check the weather.
absolutely flat.
Check
The
the
water's
weather. I say it all the time.
Absolutely flat. No rough seas or anything like that. You're out on the boat. What's your favorite fish to go fishing for? And why?
Probably mahi down in the Florida Keys. We catch them a lot more down there. But it's, we live in Central Florida, so it's more of a vacation thing to go down there and catch them.
Ryan's been begging me for some work down in the Florida Keys. Just
Yeah, I
go
did. I told
fishing.
him last week. Yeah, yeah. I said I get the crew to go down there, no problem. So
That's great.
Just boat down
Jacob's
from
more
Tampa?
of a scuba diver, so and he can fish.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. Good.
That adds to our checklist. Last week we had Casey Williams. Well, last month I suppose
Yeah.
we had Casey Williams up from Michigan. He's a skydiver, so now we've got a scuba diver. I don't know what other niche activities we can get into on next week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other random like hobbies of yours that you guys have outside of work?
Not really.
No, just work. A lot of work.
Yeah.
So we might get into podcasting after today.
Yeah. So is this your first podcast?
Yeah. Last time I was up there, y'all wanted me to go in the office and in the studio and do a podcast. I quickly went outside like I had to do payroll. So I just walked and got in my truck and started it up in case I had to go in there. I had a quick exit. So I was,
you just didn't want to be on the show.
Yeah.
yeah,
Alright.
I was a little scared of it at first.
Oh,
Well,
so
you face your
were
fears.
we. So were we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it's a lot.
We kind of got thrown into it, and here we
We-
are,
we-
episode what, 30?
I have
Eight?
no idea. What
I don't know.
Yep.
I think we're at
Yeah,
like
I think
episode
so.
30
Yeah.
or so.
Yep, I've
Crazy.
got everything from extension cords to duct tape out, ready to pull it off.
Looks great.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Very nice. All right, before we go, you guys want to give any shout outs? It's your first podcast. You got to shout somebody out here.
Ricky. His Uncle Ricky that works for him. Yep, Ricky. We'll give a shout out to
Shout out
Ricky.
Uncle Ricky.
Yeah, Uncle Ricky.
Paul.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, again, we love you guys. We really appreciate the time. And like I said, you're one of our most valuable, reliable contractors that we work with. And we're just very grateful. So I just want to say that before Paige takes us home.
Thank you, and we appreciate you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and congratulations on the new venture. We look forward to sending you some paving projects.
Awesome.
And we look forward to you coming to Pittsburgh again soon.
The new restaurant, I want to get up there. I keep seeing Facebook posts about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to go check it
Definitely
out
the
on
new
Friday
restaurant.
after work.
Oh,
Good
Awesome.
stuff. Bring Jacob with you.
Yeah.
I will.
Oh yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for another episode of the Perks in Paving. You can find us on anywhere you can locate a podcast. So that's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes,
Store.
Apple Store, all the all the
CDs.
podcast locations. What was that?
Are we doing CDs?
No,
CD
no more
you can
CDs.
CDs, tape cassettes. No, but anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.
Download the
All
One
right,
Team
thank
app.
you.